Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your special update here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. So, we've got a Knight of Pentacles, okay? The card that fell onto the table or onto my hand is a Five of Wands, right? So now we got both of these cards. And to me, this feels like someone who is sort of looking at a future, can see a vision, a destination in front of them, and is willing to fight for it, right? Knows that, okay, this is the journey, and this is the moment we turn on the burner. We turn the gas on the stove, we light this sucker up, and we do it, and we get ready, It feels like this is the beginning of the path. The Knight of Pentacles is standing here, right? Looking at this destination, looking at this path, looking at this life and thinking, let's go, right? There's no movement here. It's just, we're presented with the image. We're having the vision. We're looking at the future. This is the card that says it's time to go. This is the moment, feels like fate, right? Where now suddenly we've got to turn on the heat. We're cooking with gas now, all right? Let's put this card into some context, both of these. Let's put this energy here into some context and see how this is being utilized, okay? Next card we have, of course, is an Eight of Swords, Four of Wands, Hierophant, Two of Pentacles, Six of Wands. Nice. Going from a Five of Wands to a Six of Wands. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a fight. It's going to kick your butt 6 ways to Sunday. But Six of Wands, you got this. This is your fate. This is your destiny. And this feels like in this moment, this is the moment where you're realizing that, okay, it starts now. I think you're getting off of a previous cycle. I think that you are, you're ready for the changes. You're ready to start following this. You're ready for this very fateful moment. It could be that you've gotten out of this a bit of a Hierophant energy. It could be that you've graduated. It could be that you're done with your training. You're not an apprentice anymore. It's time for you to go out there and kick some butt and get your butt kicked, right? But it's going to work. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself along the way. But you're going to come out on top. You're going to come out victorious. This is worth it, okay? We don't always understand that. We don't always see that. It's hard to get a grasp on this. It's the mind, right? It starts to kind of spin in circles. We're starting to ruminate. We're starting to get worried. Maybe it's the problem of having the vision of the future. I can see the victory. I know it's going to be hard work. I don't exactly know the plan. I don't know what to expect along the way. I'm kind of not so much confused, but I feel a little helpless here. I don't know. And it's kind of like you're getting spirits kicking you out of the nest, saying fly, You're going to fall down sometimes, but you're going to fly, right? I think this is very good energy here. This is a nice progression of energy. It's difficult for us to really understand the plan. It's hard for the rational mind to see the course of actions. We're trying to get a handle on this energy. It's not always a rational thing. It's not always something where we can have a plan, where we can have a step-by-step. We know where we're going. Maybe we don't know the directions. We just know it's this way somewhere, right? You've got this ability to course correct. You've got this ability to choose the left track or the right track. You don't need to know the directions. You know how to read the signs. You know? You ever think about that? We're trying to get somewhere. And ask my wife. My wife does tea leaf readings over at Ula Tea Leaf Readings here on YouTube. It's a wonderful, marvelous work she does over there. Better than me, honestly. Which, I mean, obviously that sets the bar kind of low, but still. When I'm driving, I use the GPS on my phone, you know. And my wife says, why do you use that thing? We're just going to the mailbox. We're going to the grocery store. We're going to pick up our kid from school, you know. Why do I need the GPS? Well, I have this excuse. Well, I like to know my ETA. I like to know if there are any obstacles coming up, or, you know, the map will tell you if there's construction and that sort of thing, right? That's my excuse. Really, it's the safety of it. I don't feel like I need it. I shouldn't need it. Because even if I'm going to an unknown place, I know where I'm going. I'm trying to get from here to New York, right? I know it's that way somewhere. I can drive the car and read the signs in the road. Okay, we're going east. Okay, I'm going to take that road east. Eventually start seeing signs for New York that way, you know. Don't need the GPS. I can figure it out just reading the signs. Yeah. And I think when I take the GPS away, though, I start to panic. I start to kind of think of, okay, I don't really know where I'm going. Because we get in this habit when we're so reliant on the GPS, we stop looking at the street signs. We stop looking at the directions that the highway system or whatever is giving us. When we start relying too much on this mental formulation of step-by-step directions and plans for our lives, we stop noticing the signs and symbols and synchronicities from the world around us. We got to get out of this, because this is an energy that keeps us helpless. I'm helpless without. Without my glasses, I can't see anything. I can see okay. Right? We get reliant now. Of course, I'm going to wear my glasses because I need to. But we don't always need the directions. We don't always need a step-by-step, turn-by-turn, like we printed out the 50 pages of MapQuest directions. Remember MapQuest? It used to give you a big printout of a map showing you each individual turn. You waste so much I used to print those things out for my job I had, and it was 20, 30 pages of this stuff. We're so reliant on having that logical step-by-step, knowing what each sort of phase of the thing is going to be. Having the turn-by-turn directions for your life is a crutch. We get reliant on that, and we tend to stop noticing the directions that the world around us, that Spirit is giving us. Okay? I think this is what we're doing. This is an interesting aspect of this, right? Especially talking about that Hermit, or the Hierophant card. Almost called it the Hermit, right? Hermit, Hierophant. Well, Scorpio, if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now we're going to put the cards on the path of the Serpent here and see what else we got. 3 of Wands. I like that. 10 of Wands. 2 of Wands. A lot of fire. And, the High Priestess, yes. Because the High Priestess is the one showing us the way. But if we're wrapped up in our mind, our psychic energy is wrapped up in thoughts, trying to find a plan, and I don't know the plan, and I don't know what to do, and I'm helpless. We're not going to see the High Priestess back here saying, hey, look at me. I'm showing you the way to your best life. The High Priestess is card number 2 of the tarot. What's card number 3? The Empress. That's our destination. That's where we're going. Paradise. Good life. The big rock candy mountain. And the High Priestess is showing us the way. It is the messages from Spirit in our daily lives. If we're looking, we'll see it. But if we're too busy staring at the GPS, looking at the map, worried about what it's telling us, we're going to miss all the signs on the highway about which way to go. Okay? And this is exactly right. Because the high priestess is the one bringing us the message. This is the transmission from Spirit. And waving at you. Hello, look at me. But we're so busy looking at this. You know? We don't see this one. It's creating a little bit of a shadow on this, but not really much. Okay. I think this is where we really need to make a shift in our life. And I think Spirit's really telling you that this is that moment of fate. This is the destiny. You go and you follow the signs from the world around you. You follow the signs. Spirit is leading you. The high priestess is leading you toward your empress life. Of course, in the Hierophant energy, we learn, and we're taught how to use the tools, how to plan, what things should be like, how it should be ordered, what the steps are. We read the textbook. We learn the textbook. We're tested on the textbook. We're given the quiz, and we learn, we train. And when you train, you go through a lot of different scenarios, and this is the way it's kind of supposed to be, and this is the order of events, and that's that. But when you're out in the real world, out in the field, you have to sort of pay attention to what's going on and react to what's happening and read the signs. You got to read the room. You got to read the situation. It's like you're doing jujitsu, right? You get in your stance, you do your takedown. You do your knee on belly, your side control, and then you mount, and then you do an arm bar, and then you win, right? It's kind of like A, B, C, D, E, F, and success. 1 through 5, and then 6. 6x, you win, right? Good. We almost have that here, right? We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we expect things to be done in a sequential way, an orderly way. But in a real jiu-jitsu match, that's not how it works. There's other things going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. You don't have time to really sort of remember that checklist, that step-by-step list. Well, hey, wait a minute. We're doing step 7 when we should only be on step 3. That's not fair. That's the game, Let's select our mystery card before I forget. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here with our little sea turtle friend right on top. And now we're not going to look at that card until the end. All right, but it will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments. All right, let's do it together. Let's exercise this intuition that is seeming like it is the name of the game here. Using the intuition versus using the knowledge we've been taught, the skills, the training. And honestly, life is both, right? It's good to have your sense of directions. It's good to have an idea of where we're going and have a course plotted. And so we can leave the GPS on the phone. We can look at it, Google Maps or whatever. But I think we also need to make sure that we spend some time observing the world around us and trying to read the signs. If I get confused, I can look at the GPS, but generally I'm relying on my perception, my interpretation of the data, and the messages that are coming in. And in your case, this is kind of what Spirit is trying to get us to do. Let's trust in ourselves more. Let's use our intuition. Let's be in the moment and react and adapt and make adjustments and changes to what we're doing here in real time. We don't have to follow this prescribed course. We can fall back on the training and on our skills and on our education, and we can use the map when we need it. Okay? But only when we need it. And the idea is that we'll need it less and less. Okay? So these are the two major arcana energies, from Hierophant to High Priestess, right? From trusting in someone else to trusting in yourself. From relying on training, relying on the map, to then relying on your own perception and your own ability to read the signs around you, to read the room. So we have majors. Then we've got, oh boy, fire, 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 fire. Lots of fire. Lots of fire. A little bit of air. And we've got our earth cards. Okay? I bet you that's going to be the Empress. And all the fire here signifies that it's Spirit's way of trying to get you to accept the challenge, to get moving, to get started, to invoke your will, right? And to try your very best to do things in a sequential sort of order, a gradual progression, ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have the ace, of course, because right now you're in this position of, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of helpless. I don't have a plan. We don't need it. We get going now. Get in the car, start driving, right? And that's kind of, that's what the Knight and the Five of Wands are asking us to do. We see the future. We know the destination. Let's try to get over this. Let's try to get through this rumination and get to our victory. Get to your best light. Now, maybe you're involved in some sort of a career change. Maybe this is, you're building a business. Maybe you're building a home, building a family. Maybe you're building a life, right? Maybe you're putting together a bookshelf. I love my bookshelf analogy. We get the instructions. It comes with a little piece of paper showing how to do it. And if you just obediently follow these directions, maybe it will or will not work out. Most of the time it does, right? The directions are pretty good, usually. But what if there's a typo? What if there is a couple of screws missing? What if you're looking at it upside down? What if you're upside down, right? What if you're Michael Scott in the office and he's talking about technology, talking about his own GPS, and he's like, the GPS says to turn right. If I turn right, I'm going to go into that lake. Okay. He turns right, they end up in the lake. Hilarious episode. It's my favorite show, if you couldn't tell. And Dwight, of course, is like, what are you doing, you idiot? He just said, it doesn't want you to drive into the lake. You've got to use your eyes and see. Look at what you're doing now. Does that make sense? Right? Does that seem intuitively, the right thing? And so this is really Spirit's way of trying to empower you. It feels like things are really beginning for you now. And, there's going to be some hesitation, some trepidation, some hesitation, because we don't have the exact order of events. And there's no way to have that. It's unpredictable. Okay? So that's our 8 of swords here. There's hesitation, trepidation, and not so much confusion, a little bit of worry, a little bit of rumination. We're fretting over it, right? The Four of Wands underneath everything, this is a card of completion. This is a card of, a cycle that is coming to an end and a new one is beginning. It does feel like this is a karmic thing for you. It feels as if you are wrapping up some previous period of time. Maybe it's the Hierophant, the education, the training, or the research portion of something, and we're moving in now to the execution, the action, the living, the out in the field. Okay? And I think that that it's time. This is kind of like this. Four of Wands is a card of human time. It's like you're looking at your watch and you're thinking, yeah, it's time to go. But I don't know exactly. I feel helpless. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know the turn-by-turn directions. But instinctively that it's the Hierophant period is over. It's time for you to get out of the nest. All right? It's time for you to fly. This is that fated moment. And in a very real way, I think that it's time. Like it's on the calendar. It's like now's the time. Now today's the day. That if you've graduated something or you've completed a course, you've got your certification or whatever it might be, there's no reason to hesitate, really. You know, it's kind of like we just sort of should be flowing into the very next phase of things. That this path ended before this, what I'm calling the kind of training thing or the education. That's ended, and then we just sort of keep the ball rolling right into the workforce. You know, it's like you finished your medical training and now you're just right into working at the hospital. No gap in between. There's no hesitation there. Usually there is at least a moment of that kind of, holy moly, what am I doing? I don't have any clue. We could be trained all we want for something, but it never is going to really prepare us for what it's like. I was an EMT for a short period of time. And all the training and all the step-by-step kind of thing that they teach you is wonderful. It's knowledge and skills that I'll try to always kind of keep on board, you know. But out in the real world, 99% of that, out the window. It's all about what's going on in the moment, what does this person need, and what should I do to help them with what they need, you know? How can I make this person's day a little bit better because they're not having a good day? If you see somebody, you're an EMT, you meet people, they're not having their best day. That's why you're there, you know? So there is this Hierophant energy behind you. I feel like this is either a period of research, a period of training, a period of schooling or education that we're then completing. Okay? This could be an internship. This could be a certain phase of, it could be like continued education. This could be like you've gone back to school or something like this. Maybe you're even the one doing the teaching. Okay? Maybe this is kind of you thinking, hey, I should just stay back here and teach this stuff rather than go out and do it in the world, you know? Maybe you're doing both. Maybe this is a matter of you kind of putting your money where your mouth is, right? That these things that you believe in and that you teach or preach, that now we're really putting that stuff to the test. This feels like that fated moment, right, where you're getting out of the nest and you're going to go and do something that I think really is going to kick your butt. You're going to end up kicking its butt harder, but it's still going to be a challenging situation. Okay. The Two of Pentacles at the top here is the card of harmonious change. You know that this is something good for you. Just as you know that it's time to start doing it, you know that there's a good reason why you're doing it. You're changing your life for the better. You're improving your situation. What's low is going high. What has been diminished is being built back up. Right? What has been less is now becoming more. So I think that it's part of your purpose to improve your situation in life, to transcend our present circumstances, to complete this cycle of karma and move on to the next challenging phase of life, where we're going to make a lot of progress, maybe even make a lot of money, right? I feel like there is a good reason why you're making this change in your life, why you're on this path, okay? And things are going to start getting difficult, but they're also going to start getting very rewarding, very profitable, right? And so I feel like we're changing our life. I feel like we're trying to improve the quality of our lives, right? For ourselves and for our loved ones too. There may even be a very specific financial reason why you've got to set out on this journey now. Okay. And the Six of Wands in the future position is, I mean, that's extraordinary. The Six is victory after struggle, success after strife. We have Five of Wands. It's strife, from a 5 to a 6. There's a fight, and then you win the fight. There's a struggle, and then you overcome it, and you're the victor. And to the victor go the spoils. To get from here to here, though, it could be quite a process. You know, And I think it's important that we use our intuition and we see the signs so that we can wrestle with this path in the right way. It's like you're playing, you're involved in that. You're playing a tennis match or something, right? You got to be able to see the ball. You got to be able to kind of see where it's going, how it's going to land. You got to know how to move yourself, your body. You got to understand what the other person's doing and how they're moving, right? So that you kind of know where to hit the ball over there, where maybe they won't get it or whatever it is. I don't play much tennis, but it just came to me. Or you're in that jiu-jitsu match, you know, and you got to be able to kind of understand, this is the position I'm in now. What do I need to do? How do I need to move my body against this other person's body to, you know, to overcome, you know? And the fight, and then the fight is over and you have succeeded. Okay? Now the Six of Wands is not really, it's not a card of, let's say, defeating other people. It's the card of victory, but it's not really the card of like winning. You know what I mean? Like you're not trying to crush your opponent. You're not trying to squash everybody else so that you can get to the top. You're not stepping over everybody to get to the finish line, you know? Because this is a victory over ourselves, not a victory over the world, not a victory over our opponent. It's a victory over ourselves and our ability to meet challenges and meet opposition with confidence, with strength, with power, but with intuition, with vision, right? With control. The Five of Wands, really, it's a card of fighting, but it's a card of self-control. Knowing how to control ourselves so that we can strengthen ourselves, strengthen our sense of self. We can learn about ourselves. This is the card of a very strong sense of self, right? This is a card that, it's a 6, it's a sun. It's a successful sort of sense of self. Okay. Now, we're going to go to the path of the serpent here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And it supports the channel, and I appreciate that. I have another channel, Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. You could check that out if you wish. Subscribe over there. Follow me on Facebook. Look for my profile, Dove and Serpent Tarot. Look for the blue check mark. If it doesn't have that, it's not me. All right? So general energy now. Three of Wands. Confident, right? We have, this is kind of our internal compass. This is our own this is our confidence that I don't need the map. I can see the signs. I can see the High Priestess and what that light is telling me. And I know what that means, and I'm able to control myself and to react appropriately. So the Three of Wands becomes our virtue. It becomes us knowing what the right thing to do in any situation is. I don't need the GPS. I don't need somebody telling me what's the right thing to do. I observe the world, I read the signs of the room, and I know how to behave. I know how to apply myself. I can use my intuition. I can see the signs and symbols and synchronicities. I can read the road signs, and therefore I trust myself to move in the right direction, whichever way it may be. I know how to navigate. This is that internal navigation, internal GPS. Yeah. And this, I think, is really what is born out of the successful handling of obstacles, the successful meeting of challenges, being victorious in and with ourselves. We're gaining in the ability to trust ourselves. The more we do a 5 to a 6 kind of thing, the more we can rely on our own GPS navigation. Right? And that Three of Wands is a very strong sense of self. And it's a reliance. It's a self-reliance. Yeah, it's trusting ourselves. It's knowing that we're capable of meeting with challenges, of facing obstacles, and doing the right thing. Now, the Ten of Wands in the position of your environment is very interesting, because sometimes this is a card of this is sometimes a card of two against the world. Sometimes it's a card of a codependence. Or maybe in this case, not even a codependence, just a dependence. It could be our attachment to the map, to that GPS navigation on the phone or whatever. You know what I mean? It could be that attachment to the Hierophant. And in that sense, it feels like I can't do anything without having that safety there, that security. That's someone that because I don't trust myself, I don't trust that I know what I'm doing. So I need somebody there looking over my shoulder in case I may make a mistake. They can intervene before, something bad happens, right? And so we have to kind of, we have to be willing to take that responsibility onto ourselves. That there is nobody there that's going to intervene if you make a wrong turn. You go in the wrong direction. What if you go down a one-way road? I've done that before. Scary. There's nobody there to save you. We save ourselves, right? But there are people around to help us. We're all traveling this life together, So in some sense, we're all carrying our own burdens. We're all carrying our own crosses, our own responsibilities. We're all struggling to carry the weight of our lives and of our responsibility. But we can also help each other. And this is not a reliance or a dependence on somebody else or a codependence, but it's just kind of common courtesy. You see somebody struggling, you help them out. You see somebody that's sitting there like this, like, I don't know which way to go to get to New York. You say, hey, friend, are you lost? And I don't see that happening as much in the world anymore, Maybe it does, maybe I just don't. Maybe I don't see it. But I feel like sometimes people, when they're struggling, a lot of people just kind of walk by and they think, all right, that's one person less that I got to beat in this race. Let's say you're running a marathon, right? You're trying to get to the finish line. You want to be number one. So you're running with 100 other people. Let's say a few of those people trip and fall, they hurt themselves. Okay, they're out of the race. All right. And a couple other people get lost or whatever, or they fall down, or they're having a problem, an issue, they need help, and you're thinking, all right, another one down. Less people I've got to defeat, right? Less people I've got to achieve victory over. And that, I think, is the wrong usage of this fire energy. Okay? Because we're all in this together, right? There's a certain satisfaction of being first across the finish line, sure. And if you're first across the finish line, fine. But you're going to go back and you're going to help everybody that sort of fell down, right? Or you're going to stop, you're going to help someone get up, and then you're just going to have to run faster to get back to the front if you really want to win that bad. I think you're somebody that does have that sort of compassion. Okay? You're not going to do it for somebody else, just like nobody's going to do it for you. No one's going to save you. But we are there, and we can help each other. You're seeing somebody like the Ten of Wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It's just that person head down, carrying a big bundle of sticks, all by themselves, or so it seems. You can't see outside the card. Here, let's see if we can find it. Oh, look at that. Look, it's the very bottom card. Look at that. And this is, I don't want to cheat on that mystery card, so I'm not going to look at what else is in there. It's just somebody, it seems like they're by themselves. They're carrying all this weight, all this responsibility. It's all on them. Seems like they're alone. But I bet there's a lot of people around. There's thousands of people. There's people everywhere in this card, and they're all carrying their own bundle of sticks. And so, yeah, maybe sometimes we can say, hey, I can carry a couple of yours. I got some strength left in me. Or we could put our stuff down and we can commune with other people. We can relate to other people on that simple fact that we're all carrying a burden. We're all struggling to carry the weight of this life. Okay? And if we keep that in mind, I think we're going to improve a lot of our relationships. By keeping in mind that everybody's struggling. It's not just you, not just me, it's everybody. In our own way. We're all carrying our own big bundle of sticks. Okay? And so the next card then is the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is the difficulty. And really it's that real-time difficulty of sort of which way to turn the car. And it's kind of like it's easy to drive when you're on a straight road. It's easy to know where you're going when you're on the freeway and it's straight. There's no off-ramps, there's no stoplights, there's no turns. It's just following the freeway. That's it. It's easy. When there are choices, when there's an option, when there's a fork in the road, like, okay, well now I gotta do something. You know, that's the easy thing about the GPS navigation is that you just set it, forget it. You just follow the line. I don't have to make any decisions. I don't have to look around. I don't have to see the signs on the road. I don't have to make a choice at the stoplight which way I got to go. It tells me right there on the phone. Oh, I go straight or left or right or whatever. And so that sort of weakens our perception. It weakens our will. We get sort of out of practice thinking for ourselves and acting for ourselves and using our own will and volition. So now this becomes a very important factor, especially when we're presented with our high priestess. Because we are going to be presented with these signs and symbols and synchronicities and the different signs on the freeway and street signs and all these kinds of things. We got to know how to read it. We got to be first. We got to start practicing noticing them, and then we've got to get better at interpreting them, so that we can make these decisions on our own and not rely on the GPS to do it. See, it is that crutch that ends up weakening our ability to do that on our own. I think that high priestess is a very important factor here. We got to start paying attention to those signs, okay? And we will get better and better and better at doing that, and we'll trust ourselves, and we'll have this victory, and we'll have such power and control over ourselves that we'll be in a better position to help other people too. I'm not the one to ask for directions. I'm using my GPS. I don't know what I'm doing, right? But the more I get better at relying on myself and acting from this place of will and intention and seeing the messages and processing them and responding accordingly, then I'm building up this sense of self. And then, yes, somebody asks me for directions, I'll say, okay, yeah, I know how to help you, right? Let's look at our mystery card. What did I say it was? I was thinking Empress, right? It could still be the Empress. We know it's not the Ten of Wands, right? If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Let's see what we have. It's the Three of Wands. Back to this one now. Okay. Back to this confidence in ourselves, this sense of, oh, I'm capable of doing this. Believing in ourselves, and I think that we get reinforcement through trying and struggling and failing and failing and failing and failing, but then succeeding and trying and trying and trying and failing and succeeding again. It's building up this sense of, hey, I can do it. I'm capable of this. I don't think it's as simple as driving in a car to New York, but maybe it is. But I feel like the more we fail and succeed on our own free will, our own volition, without relying on the sort of assistance or the crutch of the Hierophant, whether it's the sense of directions or the recipe or the textbook or the sort of the plan itself, you know. Something telling us which moves to make and when to make them. The more we rely on ourselves, the more confidence we get, the more we realize what we truly are capable of. We get back to this fundamental force of will, and that will can accomplish anything. See, the three is willpower in potential. It's kind of saying that we're tapping into something that is at the very bedrock of our spiritual lives, and thus can be applied to anything. We're capable of anything. If we get back to this kind of self-reliance, this perception of the subtle, interpretation of the signs, being able to read the signs and interpret them and respond accordingly. We apply that flow, that practice, that skill, that talent, that whatever it is, we apply that to everything in life. We're going to live a much better life, We're going to do an extended reading too. If you want to stick around, there is a link in the corner. There is one down below. New readings for Scorpio, usually Wednesdays and Saturdays, but I feel like you kind of needed a kick here to get you going out the door or out the nest, So we did this special update for you, but be sure to watch both of your regular readings, right? Wednesday and Saturday. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's free. And subscribe to the Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories as well. Go follow me on Facebook. Remember to look for the blue check mark. Leave a comment for me and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.